pulling on his skin. Oh no, 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 no. Maybe if they would have bought a ticket too,
Right,
they'd see better.
that's-
You really don't believe that?
No. Hello, Mom.
Hi, son. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a good day.
Awesome. Hey, check this out.
Oh no.
This
Oh,
corner here,
he went him too fast.
this was the rough one that we needed to build up more. But yeah, we're dialed.
We're dialed.
All right, let it rip.
So I thought this was such a cool video.
Figured out you can't go from too high up, otherwise you get too much speed.
Oh my god, and he's loving it.
Of course.
That last curve.
He gets some speed right before it, too.
This corner here, this was the rough one that we needed to build up more.
Yeah, I'm sure he plowed
Yeah.
over that a couple times.
We're dialed.
Good for Dad.
dialed.
How exciting.
I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful relationship between a father and a son, and I wanted to show that, and how cool it was to have that little bonding experience just in general. That I always enjoyed doing that.
Though
Doing
I
stuff
don't
that in
like the
winter.
snow, but
Sure,
It's
but
fun
it,
to
it,
look
it
at.
allows you, it facilitates interesting experiences like this, and sledding, snowboarding, skiing, all these different things. These are all pretty cool ways to utilize the winter.
It's a complicated story. I had a surgery and it went bad and I got an infection and it attacked my lungs and so then induced coma. So it was something called a medically induced coma. So I didn't just pass out. They actually gave me drugs and continuously gave me drugs for a good 2 weeks or so that I could be in this sleep state and they could try and heal me and get me to live. So many dreams, so many stories. So here you go. This is what it's like being in a coma.
wow.
So I thought this was an interesting video to check out here, what it's like to be in a coma. We'll have another video from this creator in the future, but for now, I thought this was an interesting topic for us to cover, what it's like to be in a coma. It's obviously something that very few of us actually get to experience, and you may or may not have some interesting insights on the matter, so I figured let's dive into this and see where it takes us.
First things first, everything that happens in the real world, you hear, you're aware of, you kind of know what's going on, but it goes through this weird filter thing in your brain, and by filter I mean it's going through the drugs, and then it turns into something else once it actually hits your consciousness. So example, a lot of people would come to visit and sit by my bed and talk to me. I heard my stepmom and my own nanny talking and all of that, and I heard what they were saying, but then in my head we were in a girls' camp, one of those log cabin camps.
That's wild.
And they were gossiping about one of the other girls. Really, they were just talking about one of the nurses and something she had said. But in my head, they were gossiping. And I was in on it too. I was talking back to them, but I wasn't actually talking. And sometimes this messes me up so much when I'm going and looking back on the whole experience. I remember so clearly saying something back to them and being oh yeah, that Peggy. I didn't say anything. So it was all a weird conversation in my head with everyone, and I wasn't even talking. Another thing that would happen was uncomfortable positions that they would put me in. My brain would make up a story for why I was in those positions. At one point, they had to actually tilt the bed in something called Trendelenburg, which is literally tipping you upside down. So there I was upside down and swollen like a balloon at that point. And in my head, I was going in this weird hammock thing. And then I remember I got my foot caught in the hammock, and so I was hanging upside down. And I was this is so weird, why can't I move? I should just be able to pull myself up. But then logic doesn't really work very well.
Or do you have wild dreams like that?
You do?
No, I'm asking
I
if you do.
Yeah, I can relate to being in a situation where I thought I was literally in that position, but sound asleep.
Okay.
Dreams, and waking up and wondering, was I there? Did that really happen? I can also remember when I had my heart surgery, and I was living in the world of Willy Wonka. I don't know why. Everything was white. The nurse had a white sweater on. She had white skirt on. She had white blonde hair. The walls were white. The clock was entirely white. The numbers were white. The hands were white. I thought it was really strange that there was a clock that you couldn't tell what time it was because everything was white. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. I do remember conversations. I do think that I remember conversations that I thought I was conversing in, but not. But then I do remember having conversations that I would not have normally had with my daughter. Really strange, really wild. Thank God I made it out of there. But the Willy Wonka room was weird. It was weird. I wonder why she was in a medically induced coma, though. I didn't catch that, so maybe she'll tell us.
The best part, though, and the thing that kind of inspired a whole trip after I got out of the coma was all of my Alaska hallucinations. I've never been to Alaska. I've never shown any interest in Alaska. But for some reason, while I was asleep, I kept going to Alaska in my head, and it was so beautiful. It was like pine trees and coves, and I remember just sitting there and just staring at the most beautiful scenery ever for hours and hours, and there'd be a little deer off in the corner, and it would be freezing cold, but I didn't care. Turns out I was getting ice packed the whole time, so I had a crazy high fever with a crazy high infection, and what they do for that is they put ice packs all around you. That's literally the most advanced thing they can come up with. So being iced, I guess somewhere in my brain I thought ice, Alaska, totally makes sense. One of the funny things too was the way that people's voices, if I liked the person who was talking and I felt safe there, it would affect what was going on in my head. And I didn't notice this at the time, but once I came out, I kind of studied the whole experience. But every time it was my mom or my dad or people that I loved, it was someplace beautiful and it was comforting. And when it was people that I just kind of barely knew, it was always strange and I had no idea where I was and I felt kind of lost. And actually gets me thinking a lot about how that happens on a regular basis, even when we're not on crazy drugs. How do the people that we're around and the experience that we're in influence our brain and our minds and how we see the world? Pretty much being in a coma is just a very magnified and intense version of our own dreams. And so what can we learn from them and what can we learn about ourselves? And I learned so much from that experience. I mean, first of all, that I love Alaska, apparently. But second of all, I really love, it showed me who I care about and who makes me happy and how the world can be manipulated so easily and how our own minds can be manipulated and we can really believe so much.
Look at that smile.
I don't know, talking about it kind of makes me happy in a weird way. You wouldn't think that, but yeah. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to comment and I will make fun and interesting videos.
So that was Claire Wineland, I believe is her last name. Very unique content creator. We'll watch more from her in the future. But I thought it was interesting to look at the idea, the concept of what it would be like to be in a coma.
Yeah, it would probably be a long, long, long dream.
Well, like she said, just
yeah.
very an intense, very... You know what it almost reminds me of is a drug trip.
Right. Oh, for sure. And it was weird how she related the whole fact of somebody's around her that she knows and loves, and it was all butterflies and rainbows,
right?
But somebody she wasn't familiar with and all that, it was some strange place. So
sure. So there had to be some sort of aura that was emanating from these people, literal love being projected from her loved ones, and and the care provided from the people that just generally and genuinely loved her.
She looks fine now.
I agree. She looks very attractive as is, very natural, very. Yeah, I think she's very appealing, and I think that's so sad that somebody that's so attractive wants to modify themselves.
And it's sad that somebody does it
True.
For her for the money, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. And what's even the saddest of all is the fact that it's on social media being glorified not once but twice but thrice. 3 layers here.
It's us.
Yeah.
Or I should say, that's us. Yes.
Yeah. What a wild world we're in.
30-something and doing cosmetic surgery when it doesn't appear to be anything wrong with her face. So I hope they don't really mess her up. Show me.
These looks like. Oh my gosh. So let's just show her before and her after photos. Now,
Oh my gosh. She almost looks like an alien in the after.
And the hair probably on the after doesn't help.
True.
She kind of...
Yeah. And look at the earlobe. Look at the earlobe like sticking up. You see that on the side over there?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that way on the before, but...
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, what's the point? I liked her natural before. Yeah, I wonder if she's happy.
That's what I'm wondering. If these people are genuinely happy. Because, granted, it may be the surgery on the after, but she's smiling a whole lot more in the before.
Yeah, I'm not impressed at all. She does look like a completely different person. I mean, basically, they changed her chin.
This is a very drastic... it looks like a very drastic plastic surgery here.
It doesn't even really look like the same person.
No, it doesn't.
son.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like yeah, it's very drastic.
Yeah, maybe this is bullshit. Maybe.
now this is not far after surgery, and you can see before surgery, she's a beautiful young woman, does not need any plastic surgery. Now, I think she's probably already had some. It looks like her eyelids have already been done. Now, in her after photo, you can see, I mean, what's going on with her earlobes, first of all? They're sticking like way
Yes.
out. This is just unnecessary plastic surgery.
Yes. Look at his eyes.
Yeah, let's not talk about eyes. I have that eye issue. It is what it is.
What do you mean, eye issue?
The puffiness under the eyes. That's
I'm
one
not talking
of my
about. I'm talking
hang-ups.
about. Look at his iris. Like his iris, it almost looks like a cat. Like very horizontal.
I think it's the light.
It is
I
probably
think it's the light.
Yeah.
Kind of looks a little like my dad. He doesn't look like my dad anymore.
No.
We're kind of almost used to seeing Asian women under the
Hold on, let's.
kind of looks a little like my dad.
Oh my.
And now it looks like his brother, but who would want to do? I don't even think they're the same people.
He doesn't look like my dad anymore.
You don't think so?
No. I really
Look
don't.
at those eyes. The eyes look the same though.
Just
The eyes
because
look
they're in the same light. I don't know, son. It looks like he's 30 years younger.
It's an unrealistic change. It's horrifying.
Like your
honestly.
dog wouldn't even know who you are
Yeah.
if he didn't have a smeller
Yeah.
or she didn't have a smeller.
Yeah.
We're kind of almost used to seeing Asian women undergo a lot of plastic surgery, and it's not as shocking, I think, because it is
I did not know
so
that.
widespread. There was a report coming out of South Korea that at least 1 out of every 4 women under the age of 40 has had plastic surgery. But this is a guy, and you can see afterwards, he doesn't look like himself. He doesn't really even look like his son. He looks like somebody who would be like his grandson. So he appears to have had a open brow lift, which is a brow lift where you have an incision on.
Okay, so you can see it right below the hairline. That's ooh.
Yeah, it was only 7 days, so I'm sure it's not fully healed. So
Right.
yeah, that's why we can see it.
On the front of your hairline. He appears to have had a facelift where everything is pulled up and back. He's had his upper and lower eyelids done as well. Now, the open brow lift is a surgery that is really not that commonly done. And one of the main reasons why is because you have this big scar right at the front of your hairline. Now, if your hairline stays stable for the rest of your life, then that scar can be kind of hidden, but not really, because it never really looks all that good, in my opinion. But in a guy like this who has a tendency for their hairline to recede, that scar at some point, maybe in the next 10
Put 'em
years,
together.
may be completely visible out in the open, and the only way for him to hide that would be hair transplants. And honestly, I don't know what they're doing with his eyes, because they don't look natural whatsoever to me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
These guys look creepy to me. Why do these guys all look unnatural?
Well,
Are
maybe
you
they're
getting that
making
vibe as well.
yeah, and both of these men. But again, I mean, do they do makeup on them? Do they do something to these before photos?
Are they AI generated?
Son, you know AI is over my head.
White guy, Caucasian guy.
Why are they pulling on his skin? Oh no!
What
No!
did
No!
they
No!
do
No!
to this dude? So unless he's some type of
He looks like a.
He looks more like an alien now.
He looks like a Dr. Zeus creation.
Where's
That's
his
okay.
lips?
He doesn't. Does he? He kind of has lips to begin with. Where's his lips? Yeah, he does lose his lips though, for sure. Like they're gone now.
I wonder if these people are happy. Tell me. If you're out there and you're watching this, tell me, are you happy with the after? Because maybe more than 7 days would have made it look better, but no, it can't be real. I'm sorry.
The hairline is pretty drastic there.
Must have done the same thing as that last dude.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Just cutting their the exterior of their face, pulling it back, and sewing it. That's unreal.
Yeah, he looked much better before.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely normal.
I agree.
Normaler.
What did they do to this dude? So unless he's some type of an expat, he literally traveled from the United States to China, I think is where this Dr. Kim is at, and had all these procedures done. And you can see, like the last gentleman, he doesn't look anything like he started with. It looks like he's had the exact same procedures as the last guy, and once again, he's got that scar right in front of his hairline that is not going to look good in the next few years, as his hairline likely will continue to recede. On top of that, his face is so pulled tight that this is definitely not an ideal result, even at just 7 days afterwards. Now, I did some research on this Dr. Kim, and interestingly enough, there's a Dr. Sam online and some hospitals that use the exact same photos. So is this Dr. Kim, Dr. Sam, or who knows who's doing these operations?
They're probably all aliases too. Oh, but we get to see another example here.
Okay, now this is a beautiful woman in her 30s, maybe early 40s at the most. And now she looks 12? There is this tendency.
Honestly, I think this is the best looking one so far.
I was going to say that one is not as hideous. He's really got this doctor. I mean, it could be a man or woman. I guess I don't know. It's got a thing for pointy chins. You know, just give you that.
Yeah, it's almost like they strap on a ideal structure that they want. Like they select, we'll take face D, please.
But look, she's got the hairline issue going on too.
Well, that's what they do. They grab that face and they pull it back. That's what they do.
I don't know. I don't want to look that much younger for any money. I mean, no.
It makes you look very unnatural. It almost gives me an Uncanny Valley kind of vibe. Like the weird feeling you get from Life Like Robots.
Yeah, Stepford Wives and shit like that.
I don't know what that is, but maybe.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
Line shape, higher cheekbones, overly tight skin, exceedingly white skin, a narrow nose with more projection, and fuller lips. And this is what I call the Caucasianization of Asians. Now, Asian plastic surgeons will tell you.
Wow. So that makes total sense. And I will say, just in general, with the way that social media works and the way that cultural sensations last and subject themselves, you know, they just spread. It's like a trend, you know, that's how it works. But with the culmination of it all, it just makes these people more willing to do these crazy procedures in pursuit of acceptance or
youth.
Is that what it is? Youth?
Yes, it's youth. That's what I would think it is, wouldn't you? I mean, you're getting old. You don't want to look old.
Yeah, but
I
it's
like
not
the fact that people,
adjusting your age at all.
No, it's not. You are still going to have everything else, but if you want to look younger, you're going to go, and that's what most people do. They don't want to age.
I get that.
They don't want to age.
I get that. I definitely get that. I just don't see really much of a benefit of, like, let's say we have the technology to lock in an age, if you will. Oh, I'm 21. I want to appear this way forever. You could
Oh.
let's say you could live to be 100 years old, but you're locked in at 21 years old. Like it would just be weird, the idea of never aging as visually and then just dying at that age randomly. It's such a strange concept, isn't it?
It's kind of scary in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, like you said, robotish, crazy. Yeah, I'm going to age. I don't think I'll ever fix my face. I mean, I am who I am, whether my face looks like this or looks like something else. I'm still going to be who I am.
Well, you say fix your face, which all that means is adhere to the latest cultural beauty standard, like whatever's pushed at the given time,
Yeah.
which varies in culture and geography and time period. So I don't think that is right to even say
Fix your face. Okay, if I want to look younger, if I want to have surgery and get a facelift and, try to look younger, I don't think it's worth it. I mean,
No.
even if the outcome you're happy with, is it really worth it? I don't know. It's not to me. Nothing I would do. I mean, I wouldn't say that if I was in an accident or something happened to my face, that I would do plastic surgery to repair an injury or a burn or something.
Sure.
God forbid that ever happens.
Sure.
That would be different. But I don't want to go in and say, "Oh, make me look like I'm 40 again." It just would never cross my mind.
Okay, well, these are all strictly visual and aesthetic features and changes. And how would you feel about maybe cognitive upgrades to your ability to think and perceive and create mental faculty, and
If there was a way to do that, that would be interesting.
whether it's like the limitless pill or maybe a chip is inserted? I know that's crazy to think about, because I know that's, but hypothetically, you
It's
look
possible.
at this cyberpunk genre. That whole thing is all about upgrading your organic machinery and getting your bionic arms and being able to think much more rapidly. And
kind of reminds me of when I'm on my phone playing my game, and it's like neurologists want older people to play this game 15 minutes a day, and it works your brain. I mean, same concept in a way, but is it true? I don't know, but it obviously can't hurt. And most of them are word games, so
sure. Well, I mean, if you put it that way, works your brain, that's kind of very broad anyway, so
it's advertisement.
Sure, yeah.
Play this game, it
Yeah.
makes your brain stay young.
But as far as, just the idea of not necessarily upgrading aesthetics, would you be interested in upgrading other parts of your body that aren't necessarily visual but performance upgrades?
Well, I mean, I think there's ways to do that now. Again, maybe when I'm 80 and I feel like I'm 100, then give me something to make me feel youthful again. Not, I don't know. I mean, it's probably out there already. Wouldn't it be maybe kind of?
What's that?
The ability to give yourself something to improve your brain power and stuff like that.
There's nootropics, which is kind of a cognitive enhancement, and there's a bunch of different kinds of nootropics that basically enhance the performance of your mental abilities in various ways, or so they claim. I've tried a couple, and I've had just kind of mediocre results. A cup of coffee or two, usually to me, it does the same thing.
Red Bull here or there.
Yeah. But there are some people that swear by it, and they take like multiples of them every single day. And
Isn't
treat it like a vitamin.
elderberry? That was big. I remember working with somebody years back, and they swore if you drank elderberry every day that you wouldn't age anymore.
Is elderberry a real thing?
Elderberry, yes, I believe so. It's juice.
Have you tried it?
I did try it once with her.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
Yeah.
So can confirm here then. Okay,
Yeah,
elderberry.
and
okay.
and then they have now the elderberry gummies. It's a big thing. You can
Oh,
find
really?
in your big box stores.
It's like a
Can
CBD
I say
thing?
Walmart? I don't think it's CBD. I
No,
think
it's like comparable too.
no, it's not a high or anything. It's not.
Well, CBD doesn't get you high. It's like like a muscle relaxant or something.
No, this is just like a supplement to keep your brain healthy.
Oh, okay. That kind of sounds in the area of nootropics. So
Yes, and again, this was a specialty drink, and they made little shots, and they drank them every day. This couple, and I have not, honestly, since geography has changed in my life, I've not seen them, but I'm sure they're still drinking it. They were very, very faithful, and that was probably 15 years ago.
this sounds kind of. Is this like an alternative medicine?
I would think it is. I would think it's definitely one of those. It's supposed to be all natural and good for you.
Do you
keep your
believe in
youth.
all of these things? In the woo-woo alternative medication and everything? Spiritual and stones and stuff?
Yes and no. I mean, I like my little stones here and there, but I mean, it's not that I don't believe in them. I think it's like you had said to me about one thing or another. It's the placebo effect. So if you have a gem or a stone or a mood ring, mood stone or whatever they call them, that you can hold, and it gives you good vibes and good energy and peace. I'm not going to deny they have power, but I don't think it's a power beyond mind control in a sense. If you believe it's going to work, it's going to work. Can we go to a stone store and get me some?
Yeah. The
Let's
power of
try it.
intention's pretty powerful.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's you're going through a real rough time. I'm going to give you this shiny pebble or stone or gem, whatever it is. Keep it on you at all times. It will increase your power of positivity and increase your mood. It'll keep you from getting sad or down. And it's something that you believe and it helps, then why not try it? Why not use it? I mean, it's better than putting drugs and chemicals into your body.
Yeah.
Put a stone in my pocket.
It can't.
It can't
probably
hurt.
can't hurt unless it can, but it probably can't at the very least. And yeah, if it brings you any inkling of a sense of comfort or beneficial feeling whatsoever, then it's a good thing.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree, 100%. So let's check those out. Let's see what you got. Let's find something.
Find something?
Find some kind of gem or stone or element I can put in my hand and make my days go by faster and better and feel good.
Well, do you want to go down that path? Because if you're trying to speed up your days, have you seen Click with Adam Sandler?
No.
He starts using the remote to speed up time, and before you know it, he's started avoiding all the boring parts of life, the 9 to 5 and the fights with his wife. And then before you know it, he's missing birthdays and big events for his kids. And then his wife divorces him because he keeps skipping it all.
I'm just talking, I guess I'm thinking bad times, or like when I'm at work every day. If I have this little gem in my pocket, makes me feel positive and makes the day go smoothly.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah, there's something got to be about it. I'd be willing to try about anything. Maybe you should reach out to Spencer Pratt.
Who?
It's probably one of the first times I've got you there. Usually you tell me about people I don't know. Now I'm Spencer Pratt. He's one of those reality people that I've watched years and years ago. And he's got probably one of the biggest online stores for jade and all these little stones. And
another thing that I find interesting that you seem to believe in is that guy that talks to dead people. The young guy that looks like Matt Pat that talks to dead people.
Yes, what is his name?
I don't know his name, but he's got the biggest smile I think I've ever seen on a young
But
man.
it's genuine.
I mean, he
He's a
seems
medium.
like a very
He's a medium.
medium, yeah.
Yes.
But he's a very bubbly
Tyler.
individual, just like Matt Pat.
Tyler Henry.
Okay, and you believe that he talks to
Like Teresa Caputo. She does the same thing. I believe there are people that
We should watch some of that to see.
I would watch any of it.
You want to check it out?
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
I've been busy with so many different readings these past couple weeks, so I've been picking up on a lot of information about these readings beforehand. And in doing so, I've had a bit of a tough time distinguishing between whether I'm picking up on info for the client that I'm about to read in 5 minutes or the client I'm reading tomorrow.
His little, I've been so busy with it. Reminds me of the one of the, I think it was the last video we did where it was the guy saying, which by the way, I'm not married, but by the way, I've been having so much premarital sex, it would blow you away.
Oh, I'm not married, but let me say one thing. And I'm having, by the way, so much premarital sex it would blow your mind. But
Oh, that was glib.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that same kind of vibe. Like,
Yeah.
just before you even ask.
We'll see how I feel after. I'm Olivia, by the way.
Great to meet
She's a skeptic. There we go.
Most of them are, or like a lot of couples. One of them is a firm believer and the other is not. And I'm telling you, I've never seen one that has ended where the non-believer is like, oh my God, I believe. How could he know that? How could he know that my grandma used to call me Beetle? How would he know that, my grandpa owned a Studebaker? Is that what they're called? Studebakers?
car?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know how you would find these things out. But yes, I would love to talk to any medium. I don't want to get my palm read. I don't want to read tarot cards. I don't reading my tea leaves. I don't drink tea, but somebody to tell me that those loved ones that are out there are still with me. Yeah, maybe. I would definitely do it. I went and saw Teresa Caputo twice in person, and
Who is that? What is?
she's another medium. She's based out of, I think, New Jersey, New York, somewhere out east. But I've gone to see her twice, and she just randomly reads people in the audience. And I've taken something of your grandpa's with me, hoping that he would reach out to her, but maybe my dad wasn't the best person because my dad probably would have not believed for real this existed. Because it wasn't as well before he died. It wasn't so...
So do you think that there's like a percentage of these guys that are actual genuine, or you believe in all of them blanket?
I don't believe in all of them. I think there's those that are out there that will do research and be 50-50 on their guesses and, it's a female. Do you know anybody that's a female that died? A name that starts with a B or a P.
C.
Yeah.
D.
I mean, that's a little carried away.
So let me explain it to. I'm gonna reframe what you're saying to me here, because you told me just a minute ago, I want so badly to talk to my dad, or I'm hoping to. I would love to, and that's. No, I heard the word desperate. That was the word. I was desperate to, and I think that is what is allowing these people to make these leaps of, stretch of what it really means.
Yes, desperation will make you believe and see things that aren't necessarily happening or true.
Yeah.
But yes, I would like to not talk to, because you don't necessarily talk to them. You just hear what they want you to hear. Supposedly, you are not a believer. I am. Let's see what he's going to tell Miss Olivia here.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, she is. Even regardless of if you didn't. I don't.
My
know.
sister's name is Aurora, and my grandmother's name is Aurora.
Yeah, because
that's so cool.
There's the awareness of that for sure. Okay, well, where are the 4 siblings?
This is silly.
You really don't believe that?
No.
If he would have said, does Aurora ring a bell with you?
Then that would have made it more obvious that this is all phony shenaniganery.
Okay. I still believe.
What makes this real and not scripted? Like what's giving the real vibe to it?
I've just never seen him do a reading where he hasn't come up with something that has not surprised people. I mean, right here, he's a little off track. And like we were just talking, is anybody that you know have a name that starts with A or B or whatever?
Yeah.
So that's where he went, which was kind of odd, and I
Got
didn't
lucky
say anything.
with the A.
Yes, but she doesn't appear that she's milked cows either. But, you know, maybe Aurora's mother milked cows. I mean, just saying, I
Right.
believe.
Sure.
I believe.
But
Do you believe?
I feel like a lot of what he is saying is very broad and can be applicable to a lot of people.
But we're not done. We're only like 2 minutes into it.
Sure, I get that. But being able to poke and prod and to see how she's lighting up, just even the music hits, dum, like, oh, he struck a nerve. Oh, an A name. Oh, it's like, check it out. Ooh, see this? And then it's, ooh, check this out.
No.
That's what it feels like to me. You don't
Because
get that vibe?
No.
You think this is all genuine?
Yes. Oh, please, somebody back me up. Please.
Okay, so outside of the idea of it being scripted, you genuinely believe that he's communicating with spirits.
Yes. And you don't, and that's fine. But let's see. I mean, he is vague here. Let's see if he gets a little bit more detailed and personal.
Okay.
How did you know that?
I know, I'm psychic. Like, literally, she's referencing the 4 siblings, so where is that?
I don't know how he knew some of this stuff.
Well, I think with your sister, it's really interesting.
Stop, son.
Sure.
Like,
No. Stop laughing.
Oh, my bad. I thought you,
Yeah,
I thought
no.
you had something to bring here.
No, stop laughing.
Oh, my gosh. I thought you had something to prove it was real.
I was really worried that you were going to say some pretty negative things.
no,
Was that it?
You know, they cut out a lot, so...
I really want to give insight, and I want to be able to know that.
There was nothing substantial here. There was no meat. There was no meat and potatoes there.
Well, what about... You watched another one of these episodes with me, with Kristen Cavallari. And...
Okay.
And he did reassure her that this was not intentional. He wants you to know, oh, stop. I'm not going any further. I think there's juicy. Maybe he's not done here, but he
Okay.
probably is.
Maybe
because
there's some meat and potatoes here. All right. Well, it's not enough to sell me. Maybe you can find some belief in that, but that seems. I will say, he's talented. He's talented
as an entertainer.
Whatever he's doing, he's good at it. I'll give him that. He's
like
good
an
at it.
interior designer is good at what they do.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That is a very appropriate.
Please, somebody help me make him a believer. Help me. I believe. Do you? Tell me.
Let us know. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about this.
Oh, buddy.
A new video.
My buddy Ben and his new Bitcoin shirt.
Our boy Ben Hart.
Is he having a one-on-one with somebody?
Well, we'll see right here. So if you guys haven't seen the Origins videos that we've done on this, I'll go ahead and link them down below. But our boy Ben Hart just put out a new video that we got to check out. Of course, all the links down below. But this one is entitled Origins of the Woke Mind Virus by Ben Hart. Seems like he might be about to spit some more facts on us. So I'm excited to see what we got.
He impressed you, so yeah.
Let's see what we got.
And the college really reacted negatively. They really tried to crack down on the paper, tried to put the paper out of
Freedom of
business. They threatened us
speech.
with lawsuits, and we were in court. And they tried to prevent. They used the campus police to prevent distribution of the paper on the campus. And of course, that actually just made the paper a lot more popular. People wanted to get their hands on it. It's like didn't get my issue of the paper because the police picked it up. The camp.
So this is a perfect example of the Streisand effect. Are you familiar with this?
No, I did not.
So this is a phenomenon that occurred and was analyzed and learned and coined. I guess it's not even really a real thing, but essentially Barbara Streisand bought a huge mansion, and it was discovered, it became public where the location was. And there were photos taken, aerial photos of it, and it was leaked. Hey, this is Barbara Streisand's house. And she got all sorts of upset and tried to strike down all these comments and all these photos. And she made such a big fuss out of it that it ended up attracting more and more attention, backfiring from the initial intention of covering it all up. So this is a pretty interesting example of the Streisand effect.
Okay.
I think it was 190 to 5, to condemn the election of Ronald Reagan. So there was that. But the book points out that really.
Do you remember Reagan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that like?
I'm thinking that like coming in Reagan and shortly thereafter is when I think Reagan wasn't in it for the money. That's kind of how I look at it. He really, I believe, yes, I was a bit younger and politics were not on my mind as much as they really aren't these days, but he just seemed honest and wholesome, not money hungry, not, he just, and I could be all wrong. I could be full of shit.
Well, that's the public perception.
That's
I think,
what I remember.
Yeah.
And he made me believe that the country was good. Where the thing I remember, or it strikes me now, is that he wasn't in it for the money. Like now you got your lifelong senators and governors and they're all in it for the money, and it's an easy job. You don't have to work 2 or 3 months a year, and you get your income for the rest of your life. And Nancy Pelosi has been there forever and ever. Career politicians, and I just don't think Ronald Reagan was in it for the money. That's the thing that strikes me the most. Maybe absurd, but that's what I remember.
Is it possible that all of these politicians and these career politicians and the people in power are all structured and kind of put in place all behind the scenes, and it's all, structured behind the scenes?
I do believe that now, especially these days. I think, of course, there's all those theories and what have you, but I think they're somewhat controlled in what they can say and what they can do, and if you don't go by their hidden agenda or quiet agenda, that you will possibly be ostracized or definitely voted out, because I do not think the elections are basically a straight out vote anymore. I think there's just too much behind the scenes that we don't know. Again, conspiracy theories are much more prevalent these days than it was back when I was in school. So, and again, it's social media. It's what's out there. And people can write and say and believe anything.
I was trying to find it, but there's a clip that features, I don't know, probably a couple of dozen different media, like news stations, and the crew reading off the teleprompter, and it shows a couple of dozen individuals all reading literally the same message, word for word.
Correct.
And it's all clearly,
like the whole screen was full of multiple news agencies or news reporters. anchors.
Anchors, that was the word I was looking for.
The
yeah.
word. The news anchors all saying the same thing. I've seen that, and that same video where I saw that, because there is a video, and our friend Mallory would probably know that who did this, because I think she sent it to me. But it even goes back to show like how in the 60s Disney was putting out mind bending, shaping things back in the 60s, you know? And like even at that time, Walt Disney World in California was on forbidden land. That land was never, ever, ever supposed to be sold. It was supposed to be safe for nothing, and nobody could buy this land.
Whoa.
But then all of a sudden, Disneyland appeared.
Mom, you are sounding like a conspiracy nutcase. What is going on here, folks? I got the tinfoil hat in the back. Don't worry, Mom. We'll get you covered.
Are we safe?
I think
we're
we'll
safe.
Be safe.
Enforce this, what is it, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Equity is the second one. So equity versus equality is one of the biggest aspects of this all. Are you familiar with this argument here?
No.
Okay, so
sometimes I feel like I don't know anything
that's okay,
that you and
okay.
I are on the same
That's
page
okay.
at all.
So you can imagine, actually, here, let me pull up, so in equality, everybody has the same opportunity. In equity, the opportunities are distributed according to the needs. So you see the difference there?
Definitely.
So on the surface, if you look at it just right away, it looks like equity's the better idea, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In an ideal caged system, in a perfect situation and circumstance where it's literally just boxes holding people up to watch a football game or a baseball game, then yeah, it's real easy to divide out that equity. But in the real world, when you're trying to determine who gets what boxes because of their argument of their heights here, because it's not as simple as just, somebody that's 2 foot tall gets 2 boxes, somebody that's 3 foot tall gets 1 box, and the 4 foot tall gets none. It's not as simple as that. So that's the whole argument here is if the world should be ran on equity or if the world should be ran on equality.
And I'm sure as far as this visual, these images, it can even go on to the racist side of it.
Well, that's what he's going to
Right.
with the victim studies, because essentially what that's doing is it's arguing how many boxes each minority or group or XYZ box gets, because what I've started to call them privilege points, because they have certain privileges granted to them because they're a man or they're a woman or they're black or they're white or they're Asian, therefore they get 2 privilege points, so therefore they need 2 boxes or whatever it may be. But that's the whole thing, is they're arguing about how many of these boxes it may be because of they were born without this, or they don't have to deal with this when other groups do, and things like that.
Totally understandable now. And it makes a lot of sense, and doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of areas, I'm sure.
It's essentially it's so deeply complex that there's no simple solution, on either side. No side is perfect. Yes, I guess as close as it can get for most people, I guess I shouldn't even say most people, but definitely for me, is everybody having this equal opportunity. I am massively for equality over equity, because I don't want somebody to determine I don't deserve any boxes. Who is to say I don't deserve any boxes? I want a box. I want a box, but I'm going to work my ass off to get that box too. And as long as I have that opportunity, because it could be like this. Take a look in this very, very hypothetical situation, resuming back to the boxes here. That short person should have got there early, an hour or two, and started looking for a damn box.
Or should have brought his own box. Maybe if they would have bought a ticket too.
Right.
That's better.
That's the best point of them all. Go buy a damn ticket, and you don't have to use any boxes at all.
Exactly.
That's
It'd be
perfect.
like me, go to the bar and have a beer and watch
Watch
the game
it on the
TV.
game. Yeah. Wow.
Yep, sorry, that's me.
How you speak impacts how you think, because if when you speak, it's really just an expression of what you're thinking. And if they can just control speech with these speech codes, then they can really shape the country. Because
There we go, Ben. You're speaking some facts now, dude. You're getting into that hot fire.
He's got facts. He has proven to us over time and time and again. He's got facts, and he is super intelligent. He knows a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he said he wrote, what was it, 4 or 5 books? 5, 6? Multiple books. Very intelligent man. Yeah, absolutely. He's speaking the facts, and he knows, like, as far as that's their goal, is to control the speech. And the thing about it is, with the vastness, the monster size of the internet, how can you put a lid on free speech?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I think, like, the biggest conspiracy theory I just heard is when, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we had the glitch, and Verizon and AT&T had power outages, and I had heard that somebody's theory was, while everybody's phones could not work, they went in and sent different analog and shit through the system so that they can control people's phones and have more access to other than their phones, but companies and stuff like that. So, is true? Who knows? Again,
Sure.
Your mom has a few conspiracies that I read about, and I'm like, oh, that could be so true. So true. So scary. That's why I don't watch the news.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Ben, what more hot fire you got for us, buddy? Let's go.
And that is the propaganda that's coming directly from the intelligence agencies. I mean, it's not only the intelligence agencies, but it's being controlled largely by that, and of course it's filtered through the political parties and so forth. So that's what's happening. And Bitcoin, and I say
it's a gigantic brainwashing machine.
And they shut down the whole country, and it wasn't no total virus. It was like an experiment to see if they could do it. Could they control the American population and keep everybody at home? Could they?
I mean, at this point, I just genuinely feel like the mainstream media is just a giant propaganda machine, just instilling one of two extreme viewpoints, and it's just keeping these people in an echo chamber of their dialogue, their whatever they're preaching at that given point.
Totalitarianism, push button totalitarianism. I think that Edward Snowden, I think, coined that phrase.
We'll have to look into Edward Snowden's work at some point. I'm sure you're not familiar with him, right?
I've heard of him for sure, yeah, but I don't know much.
He popped the lid on some crazy stuff. He's one, if I remember correctly, he's the one that essentially confirmed to us that they're listening to us on our phones. Like, he's the one that leaked all the hidden documents that said, hey, like, our lives are not what they seem, folks.
Right.
So we'll have to look into what all he did at some point. That you'll enjoy that. But I think he's dead on too, also about Elon Musk, and he's such a hot buzzword. He's up there with Trump as far as, like, a lot of people love him and a lot of people hate him. So but like, it's crazy because, like, these people or not, they're successful. Like, you cannot deny that these people are intelligent and they are well-spoken, well thought out in their careers and what
they work hard.
Like, maybe they have different beliefs than you, but you gotta respect them. I mean, I guess you don't got to, but dang, you should. Like, they put in the time, but it is what it is.
Bitcoin is the safeguard from that. I call it the Second Amendment for your money.
Ben, great messages. Appreciate you putting your work out there, man. You are our true hero, as I've said before. What he's saying sounds accurate to me, but I mean, I'm not going to say that it is for sure with certainty, because a lot of what he's saying is going above my head, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people that are here.
Mine too.
He's clearly just an intelligent individual, and he knows what he's talking about. And I agree. Elon Musk is the same way. Elon Musk knows what he's talking about. And I think he's a good indicator of at least a good route to take in general. Like he's led himself and his companies to success repeatedly. And maybe he doesn't have the best marriage or relationship life. I think a lot of people will point to that. Well, what about him doing X, Y, or Z with so and so? It's like, hey, none of us are perfect. And if somebody's going to dedicate and devote their life to business and progressing themselves and progressing humanity, quite honestly, he's one of the few people that I think are actively trying to progress humanity in general. A lot of people hate
on a positive
Elon Musk.
note, right?
Right. A lot of people hate the guy, but you can't deny, like, he's doing more for humanity than anybody else, really. So.
Yeah, and his sex life should matter.
Yeah, exactly. But Ben, yeah, thanks, man.
Well, listen, we'll catch you later, Ben.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one, man. What's making Gen Z age so fast? Of course, links down below.
Y'all are doing too much to your fucking face. All of that retinol, under eye cream, going to get all these different facials. You don't need that. Your body's going to do what it needs to do, when it needs to do it, for your skin. Y'all are doing too much. And I'm going to end the video with my age. I will let y'all guess. Numero.
Ooh. Should we do we dare to guess her age?
What would you say?
I would have to say, I mean, she sounds a little older, but she looks young. She looks, I don't know, maybe late 20s, mid 20s.
Oh, I would have said mid, almost maybe 30s.
Okay, yeah, maybe I would buy 30s. That. Yeah.
I was gonna say 40, give or take 5, but I don't think she's 45, so I'll say 35.
Okay,
give or take 5. I don't think she's that young though, but 35.
Y'all wearing too much makeup. This is strictly for the ladies. Ladies, the f*** are you doing? And I'm not talking about white people. I am talking about people of color. We were not wearing full faces in middle school, in high school. We weren't wearing foundation every single day. We had mascara, lip gloss, and eyeliner that we wore under our eyelid, the bottom one.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to be that way for you compared to your generation as opposed to today. There's definitely, would you say there's more product being applied to a female's face?
Definitely more product, more wonder products that, anti-aging this and that. That and with, of course, the media and everything you see, it's much more relevant that you look the best that you can.
With aggressive marketing and in your face, plus the social pressure and just in general, it seems like it's just society in general, at least Western society, it's becoming more and more publicly acceptable for young people to be wearing makeup and products that is not natural for human skin to be consuming, because that's kind of what it is. And the skin is an organ. The skin is the largest organ on the human body, and as we apply these things, it's being absorbed by our skin. So we really don't know what we're putting inside of our bodies.
Right. Like the biggest thing now is not made with aluminum. So like, are you rubbing foundation on your face that's full of aluminum for 20 years now?
Right. And these kids are probably awful about the discipline of cleaning it off their face, too. So it probably is smudged in further, let alone gets taken off or cleaned.
Right? On our waterline. We weren't doing all that shit y'all be doing. And if you didn't know it already, makeup ages you. The fuck out of you. Quickly.
Agree?
Yes.
Yeah?
Again, because it has so many things in it, and now the big thing is it's all natural. It doesn't have this, like I said, because all that stuff is proven not to be good for you.
Next, we weren't eating out every day.
No.
Y'all are literally filling your body with all types of these, I'm gonna just say like synthetic foods that has all these. We weren't eating McDonald's every day, baby. We were not eating Chick-fil-A every day. We were not eating out every day. Our parents would not allow it. Nor did motherfuckers have money. Where do you think Do You Have McDonald's money came from? Came from our era. We weren't eating out every day. We were eating home cooked meals. Yes. What? Y'all eating Chipotle every fucking day. Y'all out there eating Chick-fil-A every single day. Y'all eating Taco Bell every single day. And I'm not gonna sit here like we didn't have our fair share of bullshit. Like we would fry bologna. We would, eat Hot Pockets.
Yeah, and you can compile that with the convenience of ordering it from your phone, and they deliver it right to your door. Like, we live in that world on top of all of this synthetic food and all these various products that we're consuming in various ways.
And sugar.
And now the latest thing is microplastics. I don't know, that's crazy too. You familiar with all this?
No.
Apparently, there's a good portion of our internal makeup that is made up of plastic because we consume so many microplastics that are just scattered throughout everyday products.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't like plastic bags, you know that. So
kids could stay kids for a long time. Today, these young kids grow up too fast because they're exposed to too much.
I agree with that. Wow, that's true. That's true. It's like the same reason that kids are having sex at earlier and earlier ages because they're just exposed to more and more provocative and more just they have more access to adult stuff.
Well, that, and I mean, I throw back that micro plastic stuff you talked about. I mean that's what they put in our shredded cheese to keep it from sticking together. It's synthetic plastic so that it all stays shredded in the package and you can pour it out. Otherwise, it would be solid. And that's all the youth are eating now.
Yeah.
That's all.
Synthetic with preservatives and GMOs and...
Yeah, it can last forever because...
all warmed up in a microwave.
It's a cruel world, and again, I know somebody that believes in that so much that they pretty much don't eat anything they don't grow.
If you can do that, that's the way to do it. If you can grow your own food and self-supply, that's definitely the best way to do it, of course. But it's not easy to do.
No, everybody can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But buying McDonald's every day, save that money.
They have tablets so they can be exposed to things that we were never exposed to. Our childhood innocence got to stay a lot longer until we got older and maybe sought these things out.
Yeah. Childhood innocence is just, it's going away. It's getting shorter and shorter by the day.
Yeah. I mean.
And it's so sad because a lot of kids, even myself, want nothing more than to get older when they're a kid,
Yeah, time just goes so fast. And I can remember being in high school years and years ago. Don't wish your days away, because the older you get, the faster it goes. But maybe it's a process of making us not live longer. They're allowing all these chemicals and foreign things to go in our food I do think that people are dying younger. We would have to check those facts.
Those are all statistics, yeah, we can verify.
Right, we'd have to check those facts. But they don't want us to live that long because we're overpopulated, right?
Right.
So that goes back to population control.
Sure. Well, I think everything that has been mentioned so far is pretty accurate. Just simply put, everything that we're consuming, especially when you're a kid and you start out consuming all of these awful things for you, it's only going to be that much more impactful when you're growing up and that's all you know, that's all you consume. But the fact that we're consuming and not only products that we consume physically and put in our skin and we put in our hair and we put all these things, of course, consuming, but also the things that we're putting into our mind, the propaganda and the advertising that we're constantly bombarded with, There's so much that we're subjected to and that we're overloaded with. So much, and that's why the attention spans are going down so quickly, because we're so bombarded with just everything. It's the attention economy. You know, even right now, we're trying to snatch all of these people's views right now.
Please.
That's right. We're taking all your views because it's the attention economy. And that right there, that is valuable. That's what everybody wants. That's what every company wants. They want your eyes and your ears on their product. Even right now, our product, we want your eyes and ears on it. So, of course, they're going to want all these, you know, they're going to just throw everything at us, especially with the phone and the TV and the radio. I mean, where do we not have a technological device around us throwing something at us? Where do we not?
Nowhere.
Heck, we take the devices with us into the one place that would be private, into the bathroom. We take the devices with us, and then we subject ourselves more to the overstimulation while we're sitting on the toilet.
Here's a term that I heard the other day that I'm not even sure you've heard. So, it's called nomophobe. 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 Phobe.
Nomophobe?
Yes.
Never heard of this. No, I don't think so.
Yes, it is a true thing, and they say 70% of the population is affected by this. It is the anxiety you get when you do not have your mobile device with you. That people literally freak out. That it's really an anxiety. People can get high stress levels. They can have anxiety. They can have sweats. It is an actual, really real thing, which again, they can treat you with probably different drugs. But it is a real thing.
I believe it.
You know, that people will literally have an anxiety attack if they cannot have their phone in them.
I absolutely believe it, and I think it's only going to be more and more prevalent with the next generations that are coming, with Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Some of them, they will use, I've seen some use that red chapstick, the strawberry one, and they'll do that, and then they'll do their eyes or something like that, and that's all they would do. And they wouldn't be wearing no lashes either.
Yeah, I think it's just a product of the times, unfortunately. I don't necessarily know if they're aging faster. Maybe it may appear to be slightly so, but
combination, like he said. I don't drink enough water. I should drink more water. You should drink more water.
Well, the fact that we're, bombarded with all these things is really what's playing into it. And no matter if you want to say it's aging faster or just becoming unhealthier overall in general, it's the same thing, and it's caused by the same thing, just bad choices.
I mean, look at your niece, and she's 6, and she is a makeup freak, and she's 6. She would wear makeup every day if she could at 6. So what's it going to be like when she's 13? Good luck, my daughter.
If there's an issue that AI is creating better work than you, I think you are the problem. Disney is making propaganda film theory here, so let's see what we got here.
I've heard it before.
The controversy comes in when you realize how these generative AI work. They can't just create these new works out of nothing. They have to be fed other art, text, and music. And then they use information from those other works to create a quote-unquote new piece. This has led to a lot of discussion about whether or not what the AI's created is truly original work, or if it's just stealing art from other sources and repurposing it. And that's...
Okay. So that's a good question there. Is the creations of this generative AI, would that be considered original art or theft? Because you heard how it was made. It's made by inputting the creations of human beings already, studying them all, and then essentially recreating something from the studies.
Well, then the key word there is study, though. I mean, didn't we go to school and we study many different things? Like, I want you to do a paper on whatever it may be. Then you research, you study, you learn it, and then put it in your own words. So is that thievery? I don't know. I mean, no,
You think it's original then?
I do.
Okay.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
As long as there was additional effort put in behind the new creation. I think that's really what determines it for me, as far as if there were efforts done, whether it's the studying or even so much as the simple command, the idea, having the idea, I would like to create X, therefore I can study Y and Z and create V.
Correct. I agree.
And yes, it may look like Y and Z, but
or a combination of them.
Right, or similar, but it is something new. It is something on its own, and it only came to be by the actions of the person that commanded the AI or the tool to create the new original piece.
I agree.
There's a giant rift growing between the Hollywood studios that see generative AI as a way to save costs during expensive productions, and the artists, writers, and actors that rightfully feel that their jobs could be threatened with this technology. Remember those strikes that shut down Hollywood for basically the entire back half of last year? Yeah, a big part of the reason for those strikes was disagreement over AI. And while
what are your thoughts on that?
I did not know that, but again, I don't watch the news, so...
Sure. Well, now that you know that this big writer's strike was a big portion of it, where their issues with AI being used to write instead of hiring these people, do you find issue in it now?
Well, AI is being fed information, correct?
Mm.
So if writers get out there and write original content, it can be fed to AI and then used later. I mean, I guess it all depends. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what all AI can do, but can it take the place of a studio writer or a sitcom writer? I don't know. I don't know.
As someone that has easily several hundred hours of experience with generative technology and AI, I have a pretty firm opinion that the generative capabilities of what we have right now, which is GPT-4, are lackluster to the top that a human can create. And not only that, but it's stubborn at times. It's limited because it is only limited to what it has been fed. So that's why there's also another. I'll go into another big issue that just came out just recently, but we'll do that another time. But my point is that if there's an issue that AI is creating better work than you, I think you are the problem. Because from my experience, AI has had such game-changing flaws that it makes it unusable at the highest levels. If it's something as simple as, a quick thumbnail for a YouTube video, that's fine. That can be AI generated. But if you're looking at something super important that can't have mistakes, I wouldn't rely AI. It's not fully fleshed out. Maybe give it another year or two. It may be to the point where it's better, but unfortunately it has made me a little bit, because when I first started using GPT, I thought it's obviously amazing. It's a revolutionary tool. I use it all the time for a lot of different things in my life. But I've found that after using it for so long, I can see through the cracks, and I can tell that it is just a tool. It is not something that it is going to replace people. It's not at that point yet. It can replace very mundane, very elementary, very basic tasks, stuff that doesn't matter if there are hallucinations, which are what when the generative technology, when it confirms a point as fact, but it just made it up. It randomly came across some article or some whatever online that it was fed, and it took it as fact. So because of these things, everything that it's limited with, I just don't think that AI is really going to be that much of an issue.
And in the background, Disney and other corporations like them are slowly exposing the public to more and more of the stuff. And like a frog in boiling water, eventually it'll overtake you without noticing. I mean, it's already happening. Despite the recent Hollywood actors and writers strikes, just a couple weeks ago, the Screen Actors Guild signed a deal that would allow game developers to use AI-generated voices, much to the disappointment of the voice actors that SAG represents. At the end of the day, though this use of technology may seem inevitable, you don't have to be fooled by the propaganda pushing that issue, or honestly, any other issue. You can remain aware of the tactics that all these people are using to get you accustomed to the changes that they want. You can remain aware of the propaganda in what you watch, remain critical of it, and then form your own opinions free of what anyone wants you to think. And as the world changes fast and this AI technology rapidly develops, arming yourself with knowledge is the most valuable thing that you can do. As another piece of propaganda said nearly 40 years ago,
and knowing is half the battle.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
I got more out of the film that I watched like 5 years ago about how Disney, just the cartoons and the movies and such, was feeding propaganda without even you knowing it. And now it's different, but it's still the same.
Yeah, the only difference is the medium on which it's presented. Now we have the greatest mass brainwashing propaganda tool in the world, known as the internet.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah, and I think Matt Pat hit the nail on the head earlier, where propaganda is essentially modern day advertising and marketing, because it's all subjected to us so fluently, so frequently, so subconsciously, so inadvertently. It's under our radar. It's, heck, I think I read somewhere that they can actually project advertising in your dreams, or it's a technology they're testing out. As wild as that sounds. But it's interesting. I think that the AI messages are a little bit of a stretch for me. I think it's just natural for people to be talking more about AI and exploring the different avenues that it could take. So I think it's a little bit of a stretch to kind of examine these recent, and he only had a couple examples of recent films that glorified AI. While I do believe that there very well could be some form of propaganda agenda that they're trying to push that is more accepting of technology and AI and the transhuman agenda, that's a big thing. They want to, at least that's what people are saying. They're trying to push this, encourage people to incorporate themselves within machinery to get the genetic or the what do you call it? The cybernetic enhancements that increase your functionality in various ways. Gives you perfect vision where you can zoom in on things. Gives you faster cognitive abilities, things like that. So that's really what the whole thing is. They're trying to push it, or at least this is the supposed conspiracy theory is that they're trying to make it more publicly acceptable for people to be incorporating these technologies and AI. So I can kind of see there being it, but I think unfortunately his couple of examples of films and special cases aren't necessarily enough to sell me on the particular theory that he's going for.
No, but I'm gonna look for that other video. I'm gonna ask my friends because
we'll get that set up. Yeah,
find that. But very interesting. There's a lot of. I mean, when I think about AI, I mean, in a very small-minded way, I actually think of self-checkouts. You know, it used to take somebody to ring your groceries up or ring your order up and you pay for it right then and there. And now they've made us learn to go do it ourselves.
Right.
I mean, there's so many more things that are going to happen that we're all going to be surprised. So let's just go on and just try to be happy, live well, drink water.
Hydrate.
Definitely. Take care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take care of you.
Yeah, that's Matt Pat Film Theory. He's also does a couple other channels. As always, links down below. Hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you guys all real soon. Much love. Cheers, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.